Welcome to the Joshua Jordan Experience. Listen to gather mystical insights for an extraordinary life. Hello, my beloved friends. Welcome once again to the Joshua Jordan Experience. I am coming to you from Melbourne, Australia, in the beautiful land down under. And it is my joy to be able to talk to you. Today, I want to talk about something I recently read. It was a wonderful question that someone had posed on a Facebook post, and I found it intriguing. And the Facebook post reads like this, quote, "Are we just existing for others, or do we really want to live for ourselves?" End quote. And the author of this wonderful question, this thought, is someone that I recognize to be enlightened and wise. And he expressed that he believes that he is living for himself. And by living for himself, it enables him to be filled with that which he wants to give to others. So the idea of living for himself allowed him to be fully able to give to others rather than to live for others. There were many interesting comments that I read under this post. It caused people to really stop and think. I mean, honestly, if you live for others, that will cause struggles, in my opinion. And yet, let's get right down to the facts. There is only one being here. Joshua has said that to me more times than I can count. There is only one being here. Knowing there's only one being here, that anything you do for others, you do for all, including self. Therefore, all that you do for self, you do for others. Because there is only one here. The idea that there really are others out there is an illusion, and yet it is an illusion we all agree to. We all want to feel like we have our own lives, our own purpose, our own mind, our own, it's mine, this is my life, I'm living for this, this is my goal, yeah. So we personalize our existence because right now, I am the center of my consciousness. And as the center of my consciousness, I get to perceive reality in the way that fits my beliefs, suits my values. All of my evaluations, in other words, judgments, are based in my perception of what is right and wrong, what is good or bad, what is real, what is not real. So for me to say there's only one being here is real. And I believe that self-care, anything I do for myself, I do for all. In fact, there's a saying in the Talmud that reminds me of this. It goes like this: if you save one life, you have saved the world entirely. Now I'm paraphrasing. I think it is more like, if you save one life, you have saved the world entire. And yet, I stick the entirely on the end because I believe grammatically that sounds better. But I could be quite wrong. about my adjectives. Anyway, the idea is that there's only one here. And if you save one, you've saved them all. Now, I don't concern myself with saving anyone. I'm not here to save someone. Yet, if the opportunity arose where a life was in danger and I could do something to save them, I absolutely would do that. And yet, I have not had such an opportunity face me in my 69 years on the planet. And yet, some of you have. Some of you have been in a situation to save a life. And by doing that, you have saved the world entirely. So, knowing there's only one being here, anything you do for self, you do for all. And knowing there's only one being here, anything you do for another, you do for self. Anything you do for one, you do for all. There's only one. So, my way of looking at this question, are we just existing for others? Or do we really want to live for ourselves? My way of looking at it is there aren't any others. All are a part of the whole, just one being here. So the one takes care of itself as a whole. I was just thinking about something I learned in a reading of a Hindu book. As a matter of fact, the book was by Swami Muktananda. And he told the story about this man who went to one of the gurus and was asking, what is appropriate for me to give to God, and what can I keep for myself? And the guru told him, draw a circle in the sand and stand in that circle and throw all your money in the air. And he said, what lands in the circle, you can keep for yourself. And what lands outside the circle, you give to God. The truth is, the guru knew there's only one being here. What you keep for yourself is for God, and what you give to God is for others, or self, or God. You see, there's only one being here. And it matters not how you define what is your source. Calling it God is beautiful if you have an understanding that God is the source or creator of all that is. You see, sometimes people have an image of God that deletes part of all that is. In other words, that God is only goodness, purity, truth, wisdom, love. God is love. And yet, if there's only one being here that created all that is, then what is the source of evil or hatred, jealousy or selfishness or greed? It all comes from one being, the one creator here on our planet, for our planet, the one that created the entire universe. I don't know why I limited it to the planet. Joshua quickly tweaked me. I think you might have seen that. He's going, oh, no, it's bigger than that. It's like, yeah, all that is, everything you know of, everything you can think of. And beyond that, things you have yet to imagine are created by one consciousness that dwells equally in all that is. And that is how it is so simple to embrace that there's only one being here in billions of forms, and on our planet, billions of people, billions of bacteria, billions of animals, billions of grains of sand, all of it. The one source of all that is dwells equally in all of it. And so I have concluded there's no more divinity in me than there is in a grain of sand upon the beach. And there's no more access to the shadow side, the darkness. That was created by our source too, and yet we go into denial about that. We want to think that God would not create that. Why would God create that? It causes suffering. We don't want suffering in our world, right? And yet some part of us thrives on it. That is the truth from my point of view. You are entitled to your point of view. I support you in your journey of discovery of all that you are and who you want to be in this lifetime. I wish you all the very best. And now I will bring Joshua through to speak to you to the best of my ability. Hello, beloved one. It is my joy and my honor to be here speaking to you once again. I want you to know that what Jordan is telling you, I have spent time teaching him so that it is true that he lives an expression of fullness of life. Jordan has achieved a level of awareness of all that is, such that he does not harshly judge or shut down or deny any part of his whole expression. And for some people, that is shocking, you see, because they expect a spiritual leader to be a holy person, always speaking the highest wisdom and being so divine. You see, all that is has divinity and so much more. And Jordan has learned to embrace the wholeness of being, to live a whole expression within reality. And so for some people, it is contradictory to them to hear, oh, Jordan is a spiritual person. And at the same time, they can hear Jordan maybe cuss about something or get angry and blow up, have his little temper tantrum and not be ashamed, you see. A preacher or someone expected, a reverend, someone who's expected to be so high holy, they would be embarrassed to own, to admit, I have parts of myself that are temperamental and are triggered by this or that. There is no shame in any of that. And Jordan has come to live more of his whole self without guilt and without shame. And for some people, this is a great contradiction and causes them to wonder, how can someone who is supposedly spiritual act in ways that are definitely not divine? You see, divinity is only a part of who you are. It is a part of your holiness. Jordan can be in himself and be the light in a room and at the same time be uncomfortable or be unhappy or be struggling. You see, you are human beings experiencing the full range of all that is. All that is. You're not just some of what is. Now, a lot of people have enjoyed this belief that once you become spiritual, you never lie and you never get angry and you're never sad, that your life becomes joyful and peaceful and harmonious. And yet, if you live in only those areas of the whole being, the parts you are denying existence are actually growing louder and growing stronger. And when they do come to light, is how we say it, when they pop out of shadow and they're seen on the global stage, they are exaggerated. So think of it in your mass consciousness, that in the mass consciousness, if you're repressing parts of your shadow that you find hard to accept, hard to embrace. No, I deny that I ever feel angry. No, I deny I ever have a harsh judgment of someone. All this denial you see on a mass level gets shoved into the shadow and grows in its power and grows in its expression, so that when it does come to light on the world stage, you have things like war. You see, you have things like division among political or religious ideologies, division rather than unity, rather than wholeness. Humankind is coming into a time when you will learn to be more accepting of the whole self, able to love shadow into light without shame and guilt attached to behaviors that you judge to be negative. And as humankind awakens and begins to recognize there are no negative behaviors, there's only judgment of what is right or wrong, you see. All that is can express itself in totality. And what will happen in this age of humankind, you will learn to understand and express shadow in such a way that it doesn't come out exaggerated and cause violence on the world stage. Yes, violence was created by all that is. Yes. And for a time on the earth plane, for an eon, you will learn to manage your hostilities that will still exist within you in ways that are cooperative. I know that sounds so contradictory, and yet the time is coming. The age of humankind is coming, and it will last at least 1,000 years or more. You know, the scriptures of a book called the New Testament, in a book of Revelation, St. John, who they claim wrote Revelation, had a vision of this time coming and believed it would happen with the return of Jesus. But I can tell you, Jesus never left you. Jesus, the energy of Jesus, the consciousness of Jesus, never left you. And each of you, as I see you in your own lifetime, I want to tell you, each of you have walked the earth as Jesus, you see. So Jesus cannot leave you. How can you imagine that Jesus left earth? Not a chance of it. Now I know I'm going off into a tangent. What I want to remind you is that there is only one being here. And that is how I am confident in saying, you have walked the lifetime of Jesus. You lived it yourself. And Jesus cannot leave you. So this eon of peace on earth is something that is on the horizon and getting closer. And you play your role. You plant the seeds. You water them. Hold a vision of a time when humankind can live in wholeness with one another. And with that, I will bid you a good day. This interesting that Jordan is wearing his cap while speaking to you. This is not common. He usually removes it. So still, I can bid you a good day and touch that place in my energy field that is around Jordan at this moment, that expresses my deep love for you. This gesture I make is my namaste. And some of you understand what that means. You and I are one. I honor the light within you. Let the light grow. And you do that by letting love show. And I want you to let your life be fun, as you are always true to you. Thank you. I love you.
Thank you for listening. We hope you heard something to ponder and gained inspiration for your journey. Please join us again next time. Joshua says, let the light grow, let love show, and let your life be fun.